While the national average of GCC absorption is at 35%, Bangalore's absorption of GCC is about 45%. So as much as we love our masala dosa, we like machine learning. As much as we like our idli, we like AI. So
office market earlier was in 2019 below, it was closely around 0.8 million, wherein it has moved it base to 2.2 million in the coming times, and I think it might go up to 4.5 million probably by probably 5 years or so now.
Now I heard the boys say Bangalore, Hyderabad, rentals are inching up to 90, 100. Why is Navi Mumbai playing the underdog, not getting the GCC demand that it should?
In fact, I would like to say that Mumbai is the only market which gives you a range of 50 rupees per square foot rental to 500 rupees a square foot rental.
Pune is one of the most resilient market for flex, so to say. And it is also multi-facet in terms of demands.
Quality grade A office supply with world-class infrastructure and stable governance. It's available only in Hyderabad.
For the first time, a lot of new grade A inventory inside Delhi city. 3 million square feet of World Trade Center in Nauroji Nagar, completely sold out.
From a CRE market standpoint, it is Chennai's aspiration to be on the top.
You know, across the demand segments of GCCs, India-facing IT services and managed offices, co-working space, I think which is fueling growth. We are firing across all cylinders across the country. I would call out to say that 100 million square feet absorption is not too far.
Hello everyone. Diwali की ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं आप सबको. Happy Diwali. We have this exciting dhamakedar Night Frank special edition, Frankly Speaking with Viral, coming up. Let's make this Diwali discussion as exciting as bursting crackers together. We'll deep dive into the market trends, sutli bomb-sized opportunities, and mithai-licious insights. While we celebrate Diwali, we are also celebrating the resilience India's real estate commercial leasing market has. Last year in 2023, we saw an absorption of about 59 million square feet. Currently, as we speak, we are already at 54 million square feet and heading to a bumper year for more than 71 million square feet absorption by the end of the year. Cheers. Cheers to that. Yeah. Super. Assuming, of course, there comes a disclaimer, that the current momentum continues, marking about 18 to 20% growth year on year. These trends, or the growth that we are seeing, the drivers of fuel this growth, are expected to be strong even in 2025, ensuring that the real estate sector is shining and sparkling away. The market today is lighting up just like Diwali patakas, rocketing through towards a prosperous year ahead. Let's get ready to hear why these fireworks and what are the dhamakas happening in each region. Let's ask our Garba king of Gujarat, the grand Narendra Modi Stadium, the Pakistan-India World Cup match, along with the bullet train coming up in your region, not leaving Bollywood behind, the 69th Filmfare Awards held there. And also, we are the top contender for Olympics 2036. क्या चल रहा है यार? Gujarat is on fire.
Yeah, so wishing everyone a very happy Diwali. So there are a lot of dhamakas which are going on, and yes, you rightly mentioned, there are very, very multifolded things which is happening. So I just want to take you through some 4 aspects and the 4 projects which are going on. One is Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, which is a very important corridor where you can see that that will expand the industrial outlook to around triple times, and the job opportunities will get into probably double the job opportunity which is going on right now. There is Gift City, which is emerging like a fintech hub, international fintech hub, where Gift City, you get benefits in terms of IFSCA, where in a tenure of 15 years, you get 10 years as a tax benefits, which is as good as 30%. There is then Dholera, sir, which is into the DMIC corridor, which falls into the DMIC corridor, where it's a special investment region. Roughly around closely 8 lakhs job opportunities is going to be coming into Dholera, and which is estimated to be around 2040. And there is companies like Tata and Renew Power who are going to invest closely around 91,000 crore of setting up of their base in terms of semiconductors as well as into solar cells. And just to give you the last project, which is PCPIR zone, which is a petroleum chemical industrial region where there is closely around, which has started back in 2009, and there was growth which has started, and there's an investment of around 1200 billion which is going around into that region. There are already 8 lakhs job opportunities which has been created, and there's many more to come in. So I think
Umit, you missed one, no?
Yeah.
There is international universities are allowed to set up base in Gift City without any UGC permissions.
yes. So I think
I'm just thinking we should all move to Gujarat. No, but you're saying basically of all the things that are happening, and you know, I don't know if there are so many other things like the universities, but 4 large projects, PCPIR, there's the DMIC, the Gift City, and the Dholera SJR. SIR, you know, so which is fueling this. So how does it impact, let's say, industrial and manufacturing and warehousing market and the office market?
So in terms of the absorption, if you really see, then office market earlier was in 2019 below, it was closely around 0.8 million, wherein it has moved it base to 2.2 million in the coming times, and I think it might go up to 4.5 million probably by probably 5 years or so now.
Significant. And how does the industrial and manufacturing, because that is the major play
So,
over there,
yes.
because office of course, but you will the industrial manufacturing piece is already playing out.
Absolutely. So manufacturing era has always been onto the spar of it, and you know where there is semiconductor chip making companies like Micron and
But in terms of
Keynes.
numbers, how is it looking like?
It is like probably the in terms of the absorption, it was always been onto the side of around 3 million to 3.5. It is going to touch in terms of the Gujarat as an absorption to around 7.2 million. So that's something which is going on in a very, very right direction, and I think Gujarat always been a manufacturing hub.
So key takeaway for me is like these 4 mega projects which
Yeah.
are happening, which are setting the mega trends in
Yes.
terms of which will have a direct impact on office, industrial, manufacturing, etc. And the cue is that we all should move to Gujarat.
Rumit, all this is great. When are we celebrating over a drink openly in Gujarat the success?
So I think
That's when we'll be to Gujarat.
so that's something which is already there now. You know, if you guys have known to the fact, then I think Gift City has already started giving FL3 license, which you know you can have a wine and dine facility there. So whenever everyone coming to Gujarat, I'll be happy to host you, but at Gift City.
Excellent.
Cheers.
Yes.
So we keep hearing about this whole GCC hub all the time, and it looks like you know, while Gujarat is taking away a lot of the manufacturing pie, and at least you know they've been great at projecting it as well. But Bangalore, I must say, you know, having lived there, and now I feel what is left on the table for the rest of the country, and what's happening in Bangalore. It's just GCC. You just keep hearing GCC
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes, in fact, it's an overload of GCC, even in terms of the absorption table. While the national average of GCC absorption is at 35%, Bangalore's absorption of GCC is about 45%. So as much as we love our masala dosa, we like machine learning. As much as we like our idli, we like AI. So Bangalore keeps up to his image of being dependable, like Rahul Dravid. Right?
Wow.
Year on year, again, 24% of the national average of absorption is being contributed by Bangalore this year as well. And there has been a spurt in a lot of investments, new GCCs looking at Bangalore. Someone like a Chevron who had never set foot in Bangalore. Someone like a NatWest. And all these GCC setups or Center of Excellences, as they call it, are over 500,000 square feet of absorption. So, and which is also mirroring the residential market. There's been a premiumization of clients as well as been a premiumization of absorption of residential units. The take-up of units which are over 1 crore has been about 41% of the total residential take-up in the city.
Wow.
So it's been an exciting time, to be in Bangalore, and the GCC policy, which has just been drafted by the state, is quite spectacular. The draft GCC policy, which is. So I'll just cover the essence of the GCC policy, like you asked, Viral. The current GCC market for Karnataka or Bangalore, which is essentially the concentration of GCC, is about $22 billion, and the national market is $64 billion. So the idea of the GCC policy is to attract 1,000 GCCs by 2029 from 500 currently, and create 3.5 lakh new jobs.
Wow.
And generate an economic output of about 50 billion US. Wow. Right? And to do that, the state has announced that it's going to unlock other cities beyond Bangalore, which is Mysore, Mangalore, etc., for GCCs, to encourage GCCs to set up. There's going to be a center of excellence for AI and machine learning. There's an innovation fund allocated, and of course create an internship of about 1 lakh candidates every year. So there's a lot of impetus which is happening from the government into the GCCs.
And the manufacturing, warehousing, industrial sector,
Which
you
is, I
touched
think,
upon office, resi.
Absolutely. I think, with the concentration of GCCs which is coming into the state, the natural progression is for the manufacturing to come in and
It's a full CRE circle.
the whole CRE circle, right? I mean, my God, it's an exciting time to be in Bangalore right now. I mean,
Minus the traffic.
minus, yes, I mean, interesting point, there's a lot of.
If you can reach anywhere, that
I think that is the strength of our productivity, and traffic is a part of our culture, Joseph. So, having said that, I mean, once we are addressing the infrastructure issues, the yellow line of metro, which is coming up in Hosur Road, is going to connect south completely through Outer Ring Road. And the purple line, which is already in existence, is deeply connecting Whitefield, and we are seeing the fruits of that, connection. There's been a hike in the rentals. The average has moved by about 15% of Whitefield, the east rentals, and I think the city is on the right track.
So the one key trend that I'm seeing, perhaps that's just not confined to Bangalore, but to India, is that companies came in to outsource. Then they started doing catering business. They started to cater to the Indian consumer base, and you can pick up, let's say, Google. They came and they did their outsourcing of various forms. Yeah. Let's say from the elementary level to very, very today highly skilled, and then they started to sell products. We all use so many Google products. Is just an example. And then the next progression is that they're now manufacturing in India. And I think that's playing out. So that's a full corporate real estate cycle that is evolving. And that sort of points out to what Sania mentioned earlier about what's happening to the economy, given the average age, the consumer base. And, I think the world is looking at India. It plays out in the equity market, it plays out in the real estate market, everything. So, yeah, clearly that is visible.
No, clearly. In fact, speaking of our little brother, Hyderabad, we'll hear it from the Nizam of Hyderabad. What's up? I mean, we hear about glut in supply, oversupply, and also the rentals also peaking at the same time. I mean, it's paradoxical, but what's happening? Let's hear it.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Very informative about Bangalore, the data points that you shared. But to take a step back, I wanted to start with saying that this year in IPL finals, we saw Sunrisers in the second spot. So is this commercial real estate scene.
RCB has won how many titles?
They were stuck in traffic actually.
They're stuck in traffic, like I would say. And I think we are compensating by, our office absorption.
So it's following the same trend. I can say that after Bangalore this year, Hyderabad saw the highest GCC absorption. And that was last year, and so is the case this year. And to be very specific, I would attribute the GCC absorption to the healthcare and the pharma segment, followed by BFSI. We are hearing of some unheard names entering the country, and that is setting up shop for the first time in Hyderabad, making it clearly the healthcare and pharma capital of the country. So that's a good news. While you touched upon the subject of oversupply, it is fast changing right now, I would say. There's no, by the end of the year, there won't be any, the Raidurg and high-tech city market will be in single digits in terms of vacancy levels. And now that is in a way leading the action to the financial district market. Though financial district is still coming up with new supply and it is going to have a pipeline of projects hitting in the next 3 years, but the next 2-3 years is going to be action for financial district, and that will also push the city's average rent up, and it's already touched about 90 rupees.
That's in the high-tech city corridor.
That's in the high-tech city.
But you're seeing rents going up in financial district as well?
Because of the action that's picking up in financial district, there will be price war, but we are seeing the rents movement. The average rent has already moved up from 60 rupees to 68 rupees a square foot.
In financial district?
No, across.
Across board, as a weighted average across the city.
Yes.
Right.
So that is a very interesting trend to watch out, and how much ever we talk about the city's oversupply, in today's context across the 8 metros, quality grade A office supply with world-class infrastructure and stable governance, it's available only in Hyderabad, and it is less than $1 in terms of rent, which is making the city very, very competitive.
You know, and one other element that is going to happen is that if generally there's an undersupply situation across the country and you have some basic things in order, which I mean, I feel it applies to across the country, that you have a stable sort of government and, you know, stable government at the center, you have skilled manpower, and it comes at competitive prices. It will win at the expense of unavailability of supply in some markets, especially.
Absolutely.
And you can't have all eggs in the same basket, you know. So, you know, it is likely to do very, very well.
So at some point, I think Bangalore's loss will be Hyderabad's gain.
Yeah, we've actually noticed that some demand going to Hyderabad by the sheer availability factor.
Yeah.
But thank you, Tilak, for reminding me about the finals. I just remember, I think the game was between KKR and Sunrisers.
You have all the reasons to celebrate. Diwali na better.
I think we won it in 10 overs or so.
Yeah.
So just on to Calcutta, I think we've seen a resurgence in Calcutta as well. For a long time, after COVID especially, a lot of employees went back to their home city, especially Calcutta, people went back. And a lot of the consulting firms, third-party IT services firms, they have now ramped up their presence in the city. That has led to the supply in Salt Lake Sector 5 reducing, rentals have gone up, and a lot of movement is now towards Newtown and Rajarhat. I think it's a very positive thing overall for the city. The infrastructure was decent, it's getting upgraded, talent is available, and the cost of living is much lower than other cities. There's also talks of semiconductor facility coming up in Calcutta, so fingers crossed. I think that should help the whole market to revive.
So Anand, just to ask you one thing, like, you know, I can relate Kolkata with the market absorption size of Ahmedabad. What's your say in terms of like a trend in terms of the absorption at Kolkata also?
So post-COVID it has picked up, but I think one of the challenges we are also seeing is the lack of grade A supply. I think similar story in Ahmedabad also, right?
Because you have the ecosystem, you have a, you know, a huge talent base for across the whole of east of India, and there's a natural affinity, you know, as Calcutta as traditionally a business hub, you know, from the colonial era as well, that you know, at some point in time it has to come back. But in terms of sheer numbers, what is it looking? Has it improved, or how is it going?
So it's between 1.5 to 2 million square feet. I think one of the constraints is large grade A supply being available, and there is decent demand in the market.
I hear the residential market is absolutely on fire.
It's strange. Even in Calcutta, the residential market is on fire, but closer to where I stay in Delhi, I mean, I have totally missed the bus. There have been queues of people.
This is all getting recorded. You're supposed to be a real estate expert.
But, you know, for some reason,
FOMO.
there is a FOMO that's got created. Apartments worth 10 crores, 15 crores, people are lining up to buy these apartments. And we keep asking ourselves, who are these people, you know, who are willing to spend so much money on an apartment?
You open the shutter and you have to close the shutter. I mean, everything gets sold out.
There was a line of Mercedes and BMWs just waiting to, you know, deposit their checks, for the projects. I think, but on the commercial side...
Are these marketing gimmicks, you think?
So some of it is actually pent-up demand as well. Lot of HNIs, Delhi people from Delhi who sold their property are moving towards Gurgaon at a fraction of the price, and some of it is speculative. And I've seen the speculation firsthand because a lot of people have just bought to sell it, trade it at a little later stage.
These are conversations for weekend parties and
Yes.
Diwali parties.
Yes.
I mean, this is a constant now. What's happening? Equities and real estate, I think, are conversations that people want to have all the time.
And everyone.
And you must be feeling as seen as an expert, and then to say that
Mr. Basis.
So actually, I'm an expert maybe only in the office side, the commercial side. But yeah, people do assume that you know residential very well.
on the office side, what's happening?
On the office side, there's been a resurgence. I think this year the absorption should cross 11 million square feet, which will be a record for the NCR region. Lot of interesting things happening in the market. For the first time, lot of new grade A inventory inside Delhi city, the main center, capital of the country. 3 million square feet of World Trade Center in Nauroji Nagar, completely sold out.
Wow.
Another 3.5 million square feet coming up in Aero City.
And what is that average value?
37,000 they started off capital value per square feet, and I think the last auction went to 59,000 rupees a square foot.
Wow. Wow. This is the NBCC
Yes,
development.
World Trade Center, 3 million square feet development. In Aero City, another 3.5 million square feet. So a lot of dynamics in the city will change. Dwarka Expressway has opened up, provided a very good connectivity to rest of the city. So a lot of good, exciting things happening. I think the overall rental values in the city for commercial will also increase.
And what is it now today? I mean, I'm saying overall NCR as a weighted average.
Approximately 85 rupees per square foot. And I think it might go higher because most of the newer projects
Is
are
coming in Delhi,
Yeah.
which will push it up by a few notches.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So Kaushik, now I heard the boys say Bangalore, Hyderabad, rentals are inching up to 90, 100. Why is Navi Mumbai playing the underdog despite of having cheaper rentals, not getting the GCC demand that it should?
So you're right, it's been long that Navi Mumbai should get its due. And it's indeed proving to be the case in the current space. There have been a slew of projects that have actually come up, infrastructure projects which have been launched and are upcoming. Be it the Atal Setu, be it the Ulve airport, be it the metro, it's all happening in Navi Mumbai. So we are seeing a lot of action by third-party IT services taking up space, as well as the co-working guys looking at taking up space, and GCC and the BFSI. So they are looking at Navi Mumbai actively, and that trend, I would say, that is reflecting across the city. In fact, I would like to say that Mumbai is the only market which gives you a range of 50 rupees per square foot rental to 500 rupees a square foot rental.
Well done with your marketing.
I can do my bit on pitching.
Combination of Ahmedabad and Bangalore.
Everything. So you can get everything in Mumbai. So for 50 rupees a square foot to 500 rupees a square foot. And infrastructure is the key theme across that is playing across. If I look at the coastal road, it's something that all Mumbaikars are proud of, and it can be compared to any world-class city in terms of launching the new metro lines which are coming up. Recently, our Prime Minister launched the latest metro line, which is the Aqua line.
Don't you think?
Yes, but it's coming finally. So probably it will ease the commuting woes. It's not as bad as Bangalore, but it will.
But I'm trying to understand. You have great road connectivity, which is happened and still happening, and
Sure.
And to your point on delay, I guess the complexity of building it on an already built city, and that is the reason for it. Plus, you had COVID, you have the metro connectivity, you already had the Western Line, you have a very enterprising population base for the longest time. The technology sector, you have great values, developers making good assets. Why is that not happening? You've not answered that question. Why is that not happening?
So it's the city, the way it is marketed, has been marketed as a BFSI city. So if I look at it, all the leading banks, the financial services, insurance guys, they've been having their headquarters here, and they've been the large space takers in the city.
But JP Morgan will take up space I mean, JP Morgan is perhaps they have a large GCC presence here, but some of the larger banks, global banks, will take up their commercial banking operation space in India, in Bombay. But when they do their GCC, they somehow go to Bangalore or Hyderabad or Chennai.
Not really the
and
case.
Pune.
I would say we get a fair big mix of clients actually taking up space. So you've got the likes of Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase. They are all taking up some large take-ups in the city. But yes, I can't compare it to a Pune or a Hyderabad or this thing. Largely, the trend has been India-facing businesses kind of taking up large quantums, led by the banking, financial services, and insurance guys. There was a pent-up demand, and you saw some leading banks taking up spaces to the tune of 300, 400,000 square foot, which was never the case in Bombay. The average size of rental square footage of take-ups were about 30,000 square foot. Now it's gone up to 45,000, 50,000. So the take-up size per client has gone up.
You know, the other part is that in terms of power, infra, operating expenses, also Bombay is
fairly
you don't have
nice.
great power supply. You know, so many things which work. In addition to that, if you look at the capex fit-out costs, you do it in any city, it's the same.
It's the same.
You
It's
know,
the same.
and then you put the rental component. There's a perception that Bombay is expensive,
More expensive.
but not office space segment. I mean, it comes at great value. I guess somewhere it's not marketed well enough.
Well enough.
Generally, and there's a perception. You know, we've had a conversation. We won't take names, but someone told you that they didn't know that Bombay can come at this value. You know, it's just they're paying actually more rent in other cities than they're paying in Bombay.
So collective effort by brokers like us, developers, the government can probably market Navi Mumbai, Thane to be a leading IT corridor.
What are the numbers looking like for overall? What is the outlook for Mumbai office market and what's happening on residential? Because also another piece where I only know people of keep buying these large residential premium houses.
So on the office segment, the absorption should cross double digits. So Mumbai has traditionally been a 7-8 million square foot. This year it should go more than 10 million square foot.
Wow.
That's the trend that we've been seeing. And I think it's already there in terms of the absorption so far. It should continue going forward as well. In terms of space take-ups, you know, you've got the GCCs taking up some space in micro markets like Powai and, you know, be it Navi Mumbai in some form, Andheri in some form. And then you've got the banking financial services taking up large spaces. Coming to residential, it's the same, I would say, momentum that we've been seeing that, you know, we've been hearing about 100 crore apartment deals. Earlier, there used to be 1 or 2 deals in the year that used to happen, but now it's
I think
become
people
a
have made phenomenal money from the equity markets, and that's clearly visible. Of course, there was pent-up demand, and you saw that post-COVID, that cycle go up. And although the interest rates have only increased, you know, but this just keeps on going. I mean, hopefully this carries on. One doesn't know until how long, but clearly is just
I
amazing.
think there's the taxation benefit from moving money from equity to real estate, which is also playing out in
The
a big
first
way.
year.
The first year is playing out big.
Actually, a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So,
But I think the larger family houses
Yeah,
understands
they-
it, and that's how they are moving this money.
yeah,
Which is, I
it's,
think,
it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I just want to spin off from the cities to ask you a general, just to seek everyone's thoughts on this. The big segment which has emerged is the managed offices, flex, co-working space, which before COVID, let's say 2019, when the markets were at its peak of 60 million at that time, was perhaps 2 million square feet of absorption, which has gone to and scaled up to numbers that we know today of. I think during that period of COVID and post-COVID, of course, it was driven by flexibility and people wanting those flex offices, co-working and enterprise managed solutions. A couple of them have got listed. A few are in the process of, actually half a dozen are in the process of filing their DHRP. What is your view on the future of this segment of demand, and where does it go?
I think it's here to stay. The awareness is just about increasing. Probably India is far more evolved as compared to other countries in terms of understanding this concept, wherein one operator gives you everything, rent is taken care of, your capex is taken care of, opex is taken care of. I speak to some CRE folks in developed nations, and they kind of struggle with this. So it's a concept which is here to stay, and as we go forward, it's the confidence in this segment is also building up with a lot of these players getting listed or probably about to get listed as well. So there is it's becoming EBITDA positive. Space take-up is looking good. Clients are kind of accepting the fact that this is a solution that we can go for.
I think the biggest piece is, like Kaushik said, the endorsement from large clients for this model. Clients like Microsoft or Shell, taking up large positions, has
Microsoft let go as well.
Also.
But Google, yes.
Google,
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a badge of honor for this industry.
So just to add more, we are very nearly connected to Mumbai in terms of the line where we are in Ahmedabad. But so most of the CREs who actually has got the taste of having managed office things, they now are coming to Ahmedabad or to Gujarat saying that we want to go for a managed office deal or a co-working deal kind of. So that's something which is here to stay. I think that's where Ahmedabad
Just adding to what Rumit says, I think generally real estate is looked upon as a brick and mortar business, so to say. But with Flex coming in, it's sort of transformed real estate as a offering as service, so to say, and which is what I think people are buying into. We work with a lot of manufacturing companies who are based in Pune. Most of the CRE guys are focused on the manufacturing and allied industrial part. For them, a service industry or a company which offers a service of office space just makes it so easy. So he can focus on his industrial CRE part, and he just gives the requirement to a sort of a company who just builds it out for him. It's so easy for him to manage. So I think that's a real advantage which it really brings on the table.
So Pune managed office absorption versus conventional has been massive in the current year.
That's true. Sanya, so if you look at the bifurcation, so to say, so managed office piece did almost close to about 2 million square feet this year.
Huge.
Which is pretty equal to what a GCC or a India-facing business, one third of the business almost is done by Flex. I think Pune is one of the most resilient market for Flex, so to say, and it is also multifaceted in terms of demands. You would have a manufacturing company, you would have an IT company, a pharma company who is setting up their offices in one of these managed office spaces, so to say. So it's something very much relevant. We feel there will be surge going forward as well.
But generally, can you give us, since we're talking Pune and I had some other thoughts on the managed office, but we'll hear from you on Pune since, so where?
Sure. So Viral, you brought out earlier that Diwali, usually there are two topics. One is real estate and then there's equity. And I was trying to...
Generally. I'm saying generally. Yeah.
Parties is all about...
Yes, party, otherwise, you have parties in Gujarat also, until what's happening now in Gift City. There also with bhujia and chas, the topic is real estate and equity, more so here, But I think it's a common theme, it's a weekend theme,
So I was trying to bring an analogy from what I can look at in equities and how it's sort of panned out in real estate. So if you look at the lows of COVID in that sense, Sensex was at about 27,000. Today, if you look at it, it's close to about 80,000, tad bit here or there. So it's almost like tripled the size over the last 4 years. Now, if I bring it back to Pune real estate, and the lows of COVID, we were close to about 3 odd million square feet.
Annual absorption.
So about 4 years hence, we are touching about 7.5 million square feet. So it's about 2.5 times of what the lowest was. So comparable, I'm saying equity is 3 times, but real estate is 2.5. So we're not that bad.
Yeah.
As such. So pretty strong, vibrant surge that we can see in the office demand part of it. So what is really fueling this, so to say? So there is this large 4 buckets that you see, this GCC, India facing, Flex and third party. The first 3, that is GCC, India facing and the Flex, is equally sort of dominating the market. So there's 30% that each of these portions bring onto the table. And then there is the 4th bucket, which is the third party IT services, which has been a tad low. I think that's the flavor across the country as well. But we're already seeing that spurt coming in. We are seeing some of these inquiries coming in, and I'm sure next year the third party IT service also will probably come back. And then we'll have this, all the 4 tires sort of pulling hard and going forward, so to say, in that sense.
While the demand is so robust, How is the supply and the rentals ranging over there?
Sure. Just to finish on the demand bit, Sani, I was talking to my team recently. I was giving them an example. If you look at the Pune market, we are very heavy on the manufacturing side, and especially on the automobile side. If you pick at the automobile industry, and if you divide it into the GCC India-facing bucket, and what has happened during the year this year, so we had Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, the German guys who expanded the GCC in Pune. They sort of expanded their design center, R&D center, and so on and so forth. There was Tata Motors and Hyundai who also expanded their design center. They're setting up a plant. So clearly, within one industry of automobile, you have GCC which is getting set up. There is an India facing that is getting set up. And all of these guys have ancillary companies who are actually setting their offices in the flex. So one industry is actually fueling three different buckets, so to say. So that's a beautiful sort of beautiful synergy coming through in that sense. And coming to the supply bit, Pune generally, if you look at, is a very competitive pricing market. If you look at the last quarter on the resi side, Pune sold the highest amount of quantum of space in the affordable segment, which is a sub 1 CR kind of a market.
Which is bucking the general India trend.
That's right. So it remains always a price competitive market, so to say. Similar trend on the office side as well. It is always a sub dollar market. You get good quality space at below 80 rupees kind of a number. So that's the average which it trends at, so to say. And how was the supply catching up? It's pretty startling. Again, we were putting some numbers together. So the market today is about 95 million square feet on its whole. In the next 3 to 4 years, we are adding close to about 35 to 40 million square feet of space onto this market. So imagine we are adding 50% of our size in the next 3 to 4 years period.
And there's nothing getting added in Bombay. Not to that extent. No, there's a lot getting added
There's
in
a
Bombay
lot.
also.
2026 is when the biggest supply hits in, and for the next 3 years, we are seeing about 50 million square foot that would get added in Bombay.
And probably the only city.
You're 35, 40 million
Square feet coming up.
Both this east, west.
Both sides of the city.
So the size of the market is huge.
That's true.
Sorry, Tilak has been quiet since the time I asked him that IPL question. I think we should check on him on Chennai also. What's happening in Chennai is all good.
Yeah,
Barring the IPL.
The latest I hear is that they made some rule change so that Dhoni can participate in the IPL.
Forever.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, he's one of my favorite players. But yeah.
But yeah,
So what is changing in
Chennai?
Yeah.
Resurgence. It's having a Rajnikanth moment as well.
I always like to take it from Rahil because how much ever RCB tries to hit CSK in IPL, it never happens. And I wish one day it happens.
But on a lighter note, there are Bangalore players, who are growing in Chennai. So technically, RCB is winning in Chennai.
We're hearing that they're poaching into Rohit Sharma from Mumbai.
Before you go into Chennai, Kyle, when will RCB win a trophy?
That's a $1 million question. But I must say that like how RCB's aspiration is to hit CSK, it's like right now the CRE market, from a CRE market standpoint, it is Chennai's aspiration to be on the top, which like Bangalore is leading it in the south. And it is in the making, I can say, because the last calendar year 23 saw the highest absorption of 10 million square feet, which is record for the city, and when it is especially coming from several issues, and we can talk about it. But I must say right now the city is gearing up for the best, and I mean it's already been in the business and it has a rich legacy of manufacturing, and there's a strong ecosystem of automobile ancillaries in Chennai as well. But I must say that flooding image is changing. The stormwater drains are in place. The new government has fixed that, and hopefully that gets resolved. There is the second metro phase. So second phase of metro is getting connected to the peripheral markets and to the catchment areas, which can have seamless connectivity from the residential catchment to the outermost part of the city. So there are a lot more that we can keep adding, and to add to the GCC story, I think it's a pan-India story, but in Chennai is seen the highest absorption on GCC this last calendar
Where
year.
is it, man? Everyone claims that. But yeah, I know. It was a big factor.
Yeah.
Especially the BFSI and the manufacturing.
Yes. So it's not only the last calendar year, and we see the same trend following in the current calendar year, and we have already recorded a 6.5, 7 million square feet as we speak. And year to date, and in all likelihood it will touch the same 10 million this year, if not more. That's the estimate that we have for the city. And unlike Hyderabad, the rents have gone up. I mean, it is the highest rent for commercial real estate asset in the city would be about 105 to 110 rupees a square foot, and the average is at about 75, 70, early 70s as a number. So Chennai is really brewing.
And manufacturing also, I mean, clearly they've always been there, you know, and you have.
You have like the IT corridor fueling the commercial real estate market. You have several manufacturing corridors which are built alongside the city extensions, which leads to Bangalore Highway, which or you talk about the Kolkata Highway. There are SIPCOTs and SIDCOs, which are industrial campuses set by the government early on in the 60s, in the 1960s, which is, I think, one of the early states to catch up with this industrial and manufacturing revolution, and they're
quite progressive,
doing it pretty well.
Yeah,
And it's not only Chennai. If you look at the southern districts like Coimbatore, Trichy, all these are hubs of manufacturing and industrial segments. So it's a great city to watch out and yeah, wish.
So Viral, you are like the Anar in the Diwali
what?
In the Diwali connotation, you're like the Anar of our team. Always illuminating the room with your pearls of wisdom. Now that you've heard so many Pataka developments happening all around India, across the country, what is your vision on our industry, as well as what rockets do you think would help us shine brighter?
So first of all, thank you for all sharing your thoughts, and I'm going to give you a slightly longish answer because there's a lot that is happening, and perhaps I still will not be able to cover it. But on this Diwali sort of roundtable and update on the market, frankly speaking with Viral, let me first call out to say that we are a 1 billion square feet supply market today, but we are, as a country, just twice as the size of the Manhattan market, which by itself is 450 million square feet. So India by itself, and India is, I always say that India is not a country, it's a continent, and we are at 1.4 billion people and counting, and the world is looking at India to lead its way, and we have our position in the world stage, and we should be making more waves as a nation, as a country, as people aspiring and a young population. I would say that for a 1 billion square feet on supply and growing at maybe 5 to 8% annually, and really great developments from both private and institutional developers coming through, a lot of private equity money coming in, extremely value-oriented supply. We still average rents across the country are $1 a square foot a month, which has been that case for 30 years because the dollar to the rupee was 40. So as compared to residential, again, extremely undervalued, 30% cheaper, even if you have the same kind of development sharing the wall, next door each other, offices are 30% discount, giving you great returns between 6.5 to 8.5, 9%, depending on who you are and what. Very, very matured market, like you said, perhaps the most matured commercial real estate market, next perhaps to North America, and with respect to managed office, even more matured. The kind of developments with the amenities, the infrastructure in the assets that is happening, and the kind of work, across the demand segments of GCCs, India-facing IT services, and managed offices, co-working space, I think, which is fueling growth. We are firing across all cylinders across the country. I would call out to say that 100 million square feet absorption is not too far. We are likely to close at maybe closer to 72 million square feet in this current calendar year. I would give it 18 to 24 months if we don't have any geopolitical tension in the world. You had the Gabbars, the Mogambos, which I'm comparing to some of the global events that happened, COVID, lockdown, and which directly impacted commercial real estate with work from home. You had inflation, you had high interest rates, you had recessionary environment, you had two wars which are going on right now for parts of the world, for the last 1 year. Despite that, we are where we are as a country and as, across segments of real estate, whether it's residential, office, industrial and warehousing. So we're doing extremely, extremely well. Remember, within these buckets of growth, IT services firms, which were the flag bearer of commercial real estate for all this time, for 30 years since IT happened to India, they are still under 10 million square feet of the 71 that is projected to. And they used to be 40% of the market or 50% of the market before COVID. So when they come back,
They joined the party.
they join the party, and which is perhaps because they are all pushing more return to work, which translates to more office space take-up. We hear of companies which we are all working with within that sector, which is started to slowly take up space. There is in some pockets some undersupply situation, so rents are likely to rise everywhere. We are also seeing this whole manufacturing thrust, which happened to IT from the government, state governments, and the whole ecosystem which was supported for IT. There's a huge support going to manufacturing. So you have that sort of tailwind also coming into the play. So all in all, I would say industrial and manufacturing is thriving. We can all see it, feel it. Commercial real estate is thriving. As a result of that, for every 1,000 square feet of new office demand, we've stated this in the past as well, where let's say at 100 square feet per person, so you have 10 new jobs, you will have 6 or 7 new homes being bought as a correlation, so that sort of correlates to complementary. And when you have new job creation, it segues into retail and hospitality, so that segment as well. So these are times which are, I think, you get once in a lifetime of what is going to happen, and these are long-term mega trends that we are seeing likely to happen. And very, very fortunate that we are all part of this industry, part of this business.
So which means all asset classes are going to
of course, there's going to be some correction, some, etc. But long term, if you look at the mega trend of what is fundamentally happening to the country, I think this asset class is a huge correlation, because there are two things that people spend money. They're large buckets. One is a car, one is a house.
Absolutely.
Right, in terms of value, and house being even more. If those are getting sold, and why are they getting sold? Because there's job creation. Whether it's the soft power or whether it's the manufacturing power, etc., etc. And then you have an age, average age, which is whatever. So it's a great time, and then you have equity markets which are thriving, and there's an equity culture which is evolving and happening. So
it's a combination of
various things which are coming through. I think it's only the geopolitics, which also I would credit India across political.
Looks very positive from the rest.
Whichever party comes to power, and I'm saying as a long-term trend, that we manage the geopolitics well. We have a certain seat of power now in the global stage, and that is the only spoil sport which can derail things, but that's sometimes in your control, sometimes not.
Viral, a question. So like you mentioned, the demand buckets of GCC, India facing, IT, third-party IT service providers, and managed office now. For the next foreseeable few years, do you think this will continue to remain, or do you see the trends changing?
So I'll talk about the three buckets. If you see, there's a change in leaderboard which has happened. India facing, which was hardly 10% of the market, has gone up, right? That caters to what is happening to the Indian economy. Whether it's Indian or multinational companies taking space to cater to the Indian consumer, B2B, B2C, right? So that's now 35% of the market. GCCs see value because of all the factors, fundamental factors that are in play. That's about 35% of the market. IT services can't remain where it is. I mean, at the end of the day, India is where everything happens. When companies in the world across sectors, when they do well, they outsource, either GCC or IT services. When they don't do well, they still outsource, which translates to office space demand, right? So this also will come back. Hard to call out what is going to be. And then managed office is actually somewhere a sector which represents the three buckets, right? So you will see all these three buckets actually coming to the third of the market. You know, what goes up or down, plus minus 5%. But that's what it is. And 100 million square feet looks like what is going to be the case.
If you look at other developing countries or developed countries, they're all growing in the 2 to 3% range. Whereas India is growing at about 7%.
7%, that's right.
And we being a 4 trillion sort of a country, and the other two ones, just Germany and Japan, they're all also in that tad 4 trillion kind of a mark. The number 2 is at 18, 19 trillion, which is China. So the gap between us and the second is so wide that there's a tremendous growth that we will foresee over the few years. And the China Plus strategy also sort of coming our way.
There's so many good factors that you can't fundamentally go wrong with what. And if you see commercial real estate value, the way it trades at, I mean, it's just, it's just amazing what it offers. So on that note, I want to thank all of you for taking the time and sharing your valuable inputs. And we want to wish everyone a very, very happy Diwali.
Yeah, I want to do a very quick roundup on Bangalore. I missed to say that Bangalore is going to breach 17 million square feet, which is a record high for Bangalore this year, and about 60 to 65,000 seats of managed office spaces. On that note, happy Diwali.